By the end of this video, you will learn how we can reduce the number of lines of code within our test class by making use of the before annotation with JUnit. In my previous video, we created different test cases to illustrate the different kinds of assertions we can use with JUnit. The link is in the description if you'd like to see that video. And now, if we look through the test class, we can see quite a few repeated lines of code where we instantiate the player of Patrick, who is 27, along with the player statistics class instance that includes the player, 3 games and 3 goals. What would be nice is if we could instantiate these classes before each test away from the actual test method itself. This will make the test method look neater and it will save us a lot of repeated lines of code. So within the JUnit package, we can use the before annotation to run a method before each test. But before we get to that point, I just want to run each test so that we can see them passing. And now to show the use of the before annotation, I'm just going to create a simple method. By convention, the method in a test class marked with the before annotation will be called setup. And then I will add a print line to each of our test methods just so that we can see them working. So what we can see is the before method has been called before each test method. And one thing to take note of is that the tests within our test class are not run in any particular order. So we have test 8 first, followed by test 1, 4, 7, and so on. However, before each test method is run, we can see that the before method has been run before that test. So we can use this method annotated with before for a little bit of functionality, and we can use it to instantiate a player and player statistics class, which our test methods will use. So first I will create an instance of both classes outside all of the test methods. And then within the setup method, or the method marked with the before annotation, I will instantiate these two instances. Now, as a result, all of our methods will have access to an instantiated version of the player with the player statistics. I can now begin to clean up some of the tests where Patrick of 27 years old is used, as well as the statistics, which takes in Patrick, 3 games and 3 goals. I can run all the tests again to make sure they're passing. One point to note is that because we're not instantiating a player or their statistics within the class, sometimes the readability might not be so obvious from our test method alone. So for this test 4 here, we just have the statistics under 30. From this position, we can't really understand exactly what kind of statistics we have. So you might want to use slightly more descriptive naming conventions for your instances that have been set up using the before method. So I might rename player 1 and statistics appropriately. These names might be slightly longer and they can be shortened, but at least when we go to our methods we can understand we have player Patrick who's under 30, What you can do is continue to clean up the test methods where you see repeated code. So that summarizes this video on how we can use the before annotation within our test classes to reduce the amounts of repeated code that we have written in our test classes.